let's be what do you call, interactive session, right? What say? So there is a quick poll floating around just for to start with, to know the audience, right? Just we'll wait a couple of 4 more minutes so that a lot of people would not miss this. Okay, cool. You can definitely reply in chat. I think the mic is disabled for the meeting to happen. I hope all can see me, right? Can I get a yes, please? Oh, thank you. Sure. We'll wait for 3 more minutes. I know it's a super morning for a lot of designers, because I know a lot of folks work late night, and getting up morning is a big task, right? Hey Vinay, hi Manoj, hi Jaydeep, Devika, Surya, Manoj, Mayur, Jaya. 2 more minutes, guys. Just bear with me. 2 more minutes. Let's allow a few more people come in. Thanks, Devika. So Mayur's quick question is, how do I manage time? It's a very hectic. So being a designer, we don't. I mean, I don't have like vacation per se. We work whenever we open our laptop or a phone. We work. It's fun. It's that's what exciting as a designer. A lot of people might not know about me. I'll definitely share a bit of intro in a minute. Just wanted to see a few more happy faces. I hope you guys all had your breakfast and good to go for an hour. I hope it would be interactive. Thanks, buddy. So, so let's start. Uh, cool. We have a quite decent number. I hope a lot of people will more join. So before we start, I want to see how's the Josh. I hope everyone is excited. These things are like what do you call these things? Whatever I'm gonna say, it's there. Like the whole thing is there. Knowledge is open. The only thing is where the niche is, how we curate, right? How we curate and get the best possible way so that it helps the people, right? That is the beautiful of curation, because a lot of experience put in, a lot of trials put in, so that we definitely have a what do you call bring down that thing in the picture and help designers get what they deserve, right? So before starting, a little bit of intro about me. I hope a few of people know me. A few haven't, maybe joined out of curiosity. I'm Siddharth. I'm right now working as a senior UX designer at IBM iX Studios. So I was a former aerospace design engineer where I worked with Rolls-Royce in Germany for a couple of years. Then I came back to India, obviously, since all my family and parents are here. So decided to come back to India and started working in Boeing, where I used to be a product designer for designing aircrafts, UAVs, fighter planes, presidential aircrafts, US Navy. So during that time itself, I started developing interest in digital products as well, right? So then started creating products for Boeing. Then I started working as a UX lead in Lollipop Design Studios. Then after that I pursued my experience and career in IX Studios, IBM IX Studios. So meanwhile, during the time, I try to learn as much as possible. So overall, I have 10 years and 8 months. It comes with a product, service company, product company, startups, whatever you name. So I got a little bit of exposure globally also. So it was good, right? These are some companies I worked with. So one is Boeing, IX, Rolls-Royce, Lollipop, Tata Consultancy, Sutherland, American Express. Right now I'm working with them, Byju's and Blocks, right? So quickly moving to the next. So today we're going to understand how much important a UX designer's portfolio, right? So before that, I would like to ask you guys, how many of you have portfolio, right? So there's a quick poll I mentioned. I want to know how many of you in this session already have a portfolio, or else don't have a portfolio. Are you looking for something? Are you thinking of making it? Right. So portfolio can be anything. It can be Behance, Dribble, Google Drive, name server. That's okay. But we wanted to know how much ready we are and what is important of portfolio, right? I wish it would be an open channel so that everybody could speak, but that's okay. We could definitely find another way. Cool. So Mayur I'm a graphics designer on Behance, learning UX. Cool. Good to know that. So name, so even if it's a graphics designer, architect, anyone, see, portfolio is something which we showcase our work, right? As a designer, everyone should have one. So I'm just curious to know, out of this crowd, a lot of people are there. Right now, 18 votes says yes, and 23 vote, 5 votes say no. Cool, that's okay. At least by this particular session, I'll be able to give some small quick tips and tricks which worked, right? Right. Kiran, no issues. We can make one after the session. Right. Cool. Without wasting time, I'll quickly move. So basically, we here you are here to understand and find the best possible way, right? We are curated. I have curated a little bit of a template, or what do you call, a structure in which we think a lot of people will be in a point where when we need to create portfolio, what is the use of portfolio? A lot of designers, like a lot of freshers, a lot of people coming from an architecture background or a graphic design who wanted to be very keen in exploring user experience design, product designing, a lot of things. So since even I have written a user experience designer's portfolio in 5 steps, it can be a designer's portfolio. Let's make it generic so that no bias is there. It can be UI, UX, but we'll try to dig deep into understand what are the 5 steps, right? 5 quick steps we need to keep in mind before we make something out of it, right? So like I said, what is portfolio, right? I know this I'm not going to ask a question about what is a portfolio and definition, but it's just like a reminder for everyone, right? We are just like, maybe this session will be a reminder, maybe it's a call to know that, okay, yes, I forgot about this, let me have a rethink about it, right? As a portfolio, we wanted to show, let's see how it is, right? It should mainly highlight what our process is, right? So in graphics design, there will be certain set of rules what we follow, right? In architecture, there are certain methods we follow. So like in UX also, user experience also, we need to show what is the design process we follow, right? See, research and everything is very open-ended. So if we wanted to create a research or do something about it, the process can go like, what do you call it? It can go forever and ever. So we need to streamline those things, right? So basically, portfolio really highlights our design process. Why the process? Because we wanted to show our maturity, how we adhere to the process, right? How we can use maximum utilization of the things are mentioned in the process. Now you will ask, what is this process? Why am I have to always follow the process? So the see basically a lot of people have already done and tried and tested, right? There are certain set of rules and structure and processes are made because that is something they polished over the years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. I mean, I'm just exaggerating, 10 years, 50 years, for 60 years, right? Different companies have worked around and they polished away, right? So when you know that somebody has tried and tested and multiple times and made a process, that is a good process, like any company would define for thing to execute, to do a research, right? So so whenever, why we always stick to a process, or very big companies and MNCs stick to a process, because we should not get deviated. There is a timeline, strict timeline, a lot of calculation work on about that, right? So that's why I'm keep on emphasizing on design processes. It's very important to show in a portfolio, because we wanted to show the maturity to the person who's looking our portfolio, that we know this, right? It's not about the fancy screen all the time. Little bit there is a understanding, because a lot of company need to have a certain set of rules. For example, imagine there is a traffic, there are no traffic lights and no rules about it. Do you think there will be chaos on the road? So basically design process is something which makes you in a proper what do you call, in a proper direction. And also the past work shows who you are a designer. Now a lot of people will think, oh, I'm a graphic designer, I have to show my graphics work. Am I a UX designer? I will show my UX work only. I will. So basically, past work, as in if you were an architect, or you were a UX designer, or you were a designer, or you were anything, whatever you did for your passion, you need to show everything in your portfolio, because there is a round, a fitment round in big companies where they check not the work, about the personality. We always wanted to look designers who does things extra. We are not looking at designers who are like, okay, I'll just show my work and then get it done. So we are looking at a personality. We wanted that person to know, we want to know that person, how great he would fit into my team, or how who you as a designer, because all these experience makes a person who you are today. So imagine there's a person who did an architecture for 5 years, and all of a sudden he become a UX designer and do it for only 2 years. Now he is only showing 2 years of work, but the 5 years of work, what he put so much important to in his architecture career, why don't you show that as well? Right. So basically show everything what you have done in terms of learning, in terms of creativity, in terms of problem solving, right? Because these old experience make you the person who you are today. So never hesitate to put anything. For example, someone is good at kite flying. Why don't you make a like a great story about kite flying? What is the significance of kite flying? How did you solve that thing, right? I mean, it's very vague, but overall, what I was trying to tell you, that we need to bring every essence of you, so that that 30 minutes or 20 minutes a recruiter or a person spends a time on you, get a glimpse of who you are. Don't consider you as a mere designer behind the screen. You are the front face, you are the brand of it, right? That's what I was always telling about the past work. It can be anything. If you're good at cooking, click a picture of good at cooking and let them know what are the struggles you have faced during that process. How did you solve it? So we, as a user experience designer, we more importantly wanted to know about your problem solving skills, right? How do you manage and how do you do it? Right. And obviously here I mentioned about creating a UX design portfolio also reflect your skills and achievements. So mention your achievements also. So small things make you as an entire person, right? So imagine that 20 minutes or 30 minutes of time we spend for your reviewing your portfolio help us judge you. So Lord, now you will have a doubt, so much of content, how can I show, why will people, it will be relevant or not? So that is where your thought process should. So every time we, as an UX designer, we think so much about clients product, how we make it, how a lot of research is how we gonna narrow it, how we gonna control the content. Why don't we apply the same like to in our portfolio as well? So why don't we take our portfolio as a client's task and think what is needed? It's not like, hello, I am Siddharth, and dump all these stuff. No, give them a sectional difference, tell your value proposition, tell why should they hire you. First of all, you need to the portfolio should answer why should they hire you, right? What is the X factor makes Siddharth different from the rest of the crowd? So this portfolio needs to tell these things, right? So all you can dump in, but in a proper navigation or proper structure or proper category, right? Now let's look at what hiring managers are looking for. Okay, so this is one of the thought of one of the hiring manager. Let's see. Show me how you started. with an opportunity and produce real value for the user and organization. Second thought would be like, I am curious to know what is in the design and why, just as much I like to know why elements are made in. Third one, don't just show me the finished product. I want to see the messy process and all the work and research that was put in to land on a shiny polished design. Tell me the problem you were trying to solve, your role, any constraints, project timeline, changes from the iteration to iteration, how the research informed the design. See, basically what we are trying to see here, it takes away the entire stigma of what we are thinking. So for us, what is the case study? Generally, any fresher would come, oh, this is the heading, this is my problem, this is my design process, this is the design thinking process, this is the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, funny screens, done. No, they wanted to see the messy processes. They wanted to see what failed and how did you overcome, right? What are the challenges you faced while doing imagine there was a challenge. Imagine you are doing a research for a third tier country, third tier city, or a city where the local language was not good. People were not able to communicate. People were not able to convey. So you have to tell, okay, during this time, I hired someone or I had taken a friend who knows the local language and we try to solve it. So basically, we are trying to see. We don't want to see very polished and all these stuff. A little bit of your challenges. How did you overcome? Right? Some important and intelligent managers or senior designers would look in that aspect. It doesn't mean that we don't have to show the screens at all. So basically, how it works so far is, I mean, it's not supposed to be. It's like 40 to 60 ratio. Like 40% of proper, nice, crisp research and 60% of the entire decision making on the screens. How it looks. Right, that's how general trend is happening after I've seen, because mostly for some of the things are like jo dikhta hai wo bikhta hai, right? So you should have beautiful screens also, but that should have a meaning, right? And you should have a messy process also, so we know that how matured you were able to tackle those things. We need to understand what is your role in it. Like, it's not like, okay, I created this, but we always forget to mention what is my role, right? What is the constraint? What are my assumptions? What are my iterations? So after any test, after you test with the user, they will come back with the feedback, right? So it's a great thing you add about that. Okay, because of these users have said this, I made these changes, right? So it will show you that you already done some user testing, right? It's not about just final screens and then finish it off. So we need to do, once it is done, how are you going to hand over to a developer? How are you going to do a usability testing? How you take the feedback and how do you make an iteration, right? So now let's look at how many people would view the portfolio. Like, what are kind of people are looking at it? For example, let's consider our portfolio is a project. It's a client project and you are the client, okay? So when we want to do a research, we need to know the focus group, the people who you want to access or have a first-hand access to your portfolio. So hiring manager is one user, recruiter is, and fellow UX professional who want to look at it, right? So they are the users of your portfolio. So we, instead of just making a portfolio, like I said, we need to think like we are making a product for ourselves. So we need to put so much effort and thought so that we know who our audience is. So imagine a person, I'm coming from a business background. Okay, I don't understand any UX jargons. You just bombard with me this process, persona, this, and I will be like, oh, okay, what is this design method? What is this customer journey? How would I map this? How would I understand what I can infer from? So you should understand being in the shoe. Like, the first step of being an UX designer is called empathy, right? So we need to be empathetic to understand who are the audience who would come to a portfolio. So it would be a manager, a recruiter, a fellow UX professional. Fellow UX professional is, he knows into the industry. A recruiter may not be. He might be an MBA grad. He might be someone very generic. He will be asked, these are the requirements, find it. These are the keywords, find it. Right? So you need to be as intelligent to understand even normal recruiters should understand, and managers also who are in a different capability, right? Now, about the second thing is about the portfolio styling. Like I said, too many content, if you're going to dump it, it will be difficult. Like I said, now the concentration span of each person is very less, like 10 minutes, like hardly 15 minutes, because the era has started become like reels. We keep on scrolling and time has changed like that, right? So portfolio styling very important. So you need to make sure the content is shown as scannable. right? It's a very debatable topic. Like, okay, if I have so much of research content, how can I show scannable? So that's how you present it, right? How beautifully you present, so that the attention or the concentration just goes to the important facts only, right? Definitely you can tag to a detailed research if you want to in a different page, but who's curious to know about more research? Otherwise you could give a glimpse of very scannable items, how are things and how what was the design process, right? And next, coming to the next is about the prioritization. So there's a case when I was in my early days, I used to dump all my things, all my work, all together. There was no navigation, there was no clustering, there was no accordion, there was no structuring, groupism, nothing was there. I was dump all these graphics designing, UI projects, UX projects, case studies, that this and all. So here the prioritization comes. So I always tell designers, make minimum three case studies if you wanted to be a UX designer, minimum three case studies to know whatever it is as a fresher, okay? Because seniors have a lot of new case studies to put in because of their work. Some people have NDA that we will discuss in later slides. So three case studies, what you can cater. So it's not that I'm going to give all the same case studies and stuff into my recruiters. No, it will be like a platter. It's like recruiter will come for a buffet. He will pick what he wanted to. So as a strategy, I'm telling, one mobile application, one SaaS product, and one responsive website, responsive product. If these three different will be there, people will be able to judge that this guy is able to do a responsive designing, this guy is able to do a mobile designing, and this guy is able to do what do you call it, SaaS product as well. So if you give some variety, people from a different companies knows about it. Otherwise, if you give same style of work, right? So the company will be like, imagine I'm a company where I'm mostly mastered in the mobile applications. Now I'm looking at all the web applications in your portfolio. So it will be difficult to relate. Some people might take because of your judgment. Some people might talk because he's not done anything like that. But like I said, we don't get a chance to talk. That is the first level of review. What happens when a recruiter, right? So we need to prioritize, right, what the reader, the users wanted to see from us, and give them what we give. Like, for example, a non-veg guy comes for a veg platter, he wouldn't take. So we need to give a combination of both, and let the user decide what they wanted. And maybe in an interview also you can ask. See, they will ask you. There is always a question they'll ask you. Show me your best portfolio. So interview is not one way. Interview is a two-way discussion. So where you can ask, sir, or someone like, why don't you let me know which particular interest you? I have a year SaaS one, I have a mobile application, and I have what do you call a responsive, whatever it is. And the person would sometimes might say, okay, show me this. Otherwise, they will say, pick any one of yours. Then you pick yours, right? But at least we wanted to show them that we are ready with it. That is the whole idea about it, right? Yeah. Okay. So I would like to put for a quick poll so that we you people don't get confused. I wanted to know, like, what is the platform on which you guys made portfolio? So I put a quick poll. I hope let's see how it goes. So I'm taking intermediate break because like a lot of content might be overwhelming. So I just wanted to make this a little bit of relaxing so that we will have a bit of understanding and see how it goes. Okay, a lot of people are in Behance. Nice. 4 people are showing own website. Lakshmi says she's in Behance. Okay. Behance, Google Sites, Notion, EMA, Adobe Portfolio, Behance. Can we also see the portfolio results? Okay. So I hope you guys can see the portfolio results. Personal website. So there is something called a print copy. A lot of people might not know. It is done by graphics designers who used to go to these industry to show their print quality, a booklet of portfolio. We'll decide about that. Nice, nice, cool. So mostly it's about a Behance. So Behance one here. Cool. So cool. So that's to understand most where do people stand and what is the important. So let's start about the 5 steps I discussed. Let the war begins. So just keep this thought in mind. A lot of people will be say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I already knew this. What so much about it?" Like I said, some people might know it. Some people it might help someone. For other people it might be a reminder, right? Like I said, so it says about take inventory of all your projects. That is, bring everything whatever you've done. It shows what your person is today, right? So as a UX professional, we might have worked a lot of projects and tasks, right? And it is very difficult to narrow what is show has to be shown in portfolio. First of all, we need to see what is there in inventory, and we need to show the multiple types of work what we have, like I said. And just I will read these questions. Just try to ask these questions yourself now and see whether you're trying to get an answer or not, right? What am I really good at? Okay, try asking this yourself. Then which UX activity do I really like to do? Like if you're not done, okay, or else I can ask this question, which research activity do I really like to do? What differentiates me from the rest of the other designers, right? On what project did I bring most value? From which project did I learn the most? What interesting stories can I tell about the work that I did? So now if you're looking at all these polls, right, all these polls what we have so far, just let me know in yes or no. Have you guys asked these questions to yourself? Do you think these questions is really needed to self introspect so that you guys could push a little bit ahead? Or else is there someone who already knows all these answers and who's like, I'm the perfect, I can do wonders and I know every answer, I'm different from the rest of the crowd? So I would like to ask, you can answer in yes or no. Did you guys ever got a chance, or do you guys ever ask these questions while you prepare these portfolios? You guys can answer in yes or no. Okay. So basically, it's like mid of average is no, not all questions. But do you think these questions can really make a difference of your portfolio or the way you think? Because yes, cool. So why I was telling, because these questions prompt you to do differently. Like today, I'll be like, oh, I have made some case studies. I got 100 rejections. Why? But did you ask what differentiate with me from the rest of the folks? A person would see 1,000 portfolio every day, right? A recruiter sees 100 portfolio every day. What is that X factor? What makes you a different brand? For example, if I'm like Siddharth. So what makes Siddharth different from the crowd? Why should I hire Siddharth? These two questions you keep on thinking about yourself, then you will be like, yeah, really, my portfolio is not showing what I'm supposed to show. That is the catch. That's what we wanted, right? Everyone has it in. Like, we don't want to be in a hurry or a rat race to create a portfolio. Like I said, it's your personal project. It should reflect you as a person. For example, in my portfolio, I would love to show my dog's photo because I love him so much, right? I used to show him here and there. I tell a story about it because he's like a, what do you call? He's like a mascot for me, right? So I used to show. See, that is something I bring personalization to my portfolio, right? So once again, I'm asking you that two golden questions you should ask yourself every time, even if you feel that you are not getting that answer. Write it in a paper, stick it on the wall. Every morning you wake up and see that question, like what makes me like why should people hire me, first question, and second, what makes me different from the rest of the crowd? That is our intention, right? That's how you going to challenge yourself. So if you look at my way, every time when my knowledge curve is less, I upskill. So imagine a person who studied mechanical designing, a design engineer, who did aerospace, who did masters in UX, and then UX.
रैंक नहीं होएंगी शायद.
I'm hearing an audio. Isha. Oh, okay. That's cool. So what I wanted to tell, like Yeah. So the knowledge, like, so I always tell a UX designer every 3 to 6 months he need to upskill, right? You will be like, what upskill? What should I learn? But do something new. So every resume should not be static. Like for example, I make a resume for today, portfolio for today. It should not be static for a year. So every 6 months, at least one liner in a resume and something in a portfolio should get added. So it should be a dynamic one. So even you are in a company for 10 years, right? Every year you need to make sure this is added. And that is whole about the portfolio, right? That's what we wanted to be portfolio. Because I know friends who are in 25 years or 15 years and 20 years of experience, they always tell me, so that it's very difficult to change a job because I haven't done my portfolio. How would I mention 15 years of work in my portfolio? How do I do 20 years of my work into portfolio? Because they didn't have started early. That's the whole point of it. Start early, start building it's gonna be your throughout your life and throughout your career. That is it's like imagine you are in a Facebook, you keep on clicking pictures and putting in a folder. Instagram, you stays it. When you scroll down the 1,000 2,000 images in the Instagram, you get to see how did you evolve as a person. Imagine a photographer first used to click with a 2 megapixel camera. How did he evolve as a person, right? So that is where we wanted to bring portfolio also. It should be reflecting about all your personality. It should be a place which tells, not like you should give your bank details and all the stuff. It should show you what do you call the whole personality, what the person who you are, what is the maturity of the design thinking you are. So once again, telling you to ask these questions every time you wake up, like so that it motivates you to be the next big thing or wanted to do the next X factor thing. It's pretty why should the people should hire me? One question, and second, uh, what makes me different from the rest of the crowd, right? So the main mantra from the first point is prioritize your project that aligns to your work and you're looking for. So you need to manifest what I am looking forward for. For example, I'm a UX designer. I need to keep my UX work on the top. That's what I meant to say. Priority of work on the top. Rest of the things are history. Rest of the things you bring it in. But the top, what you want to show, that is what you want to be. So some people will put the title as, okay, looking forward for like, what do you call? Siddharthan VP. Imagine there's a title, Siddharthan VP, aspiring UX designer. Don't aspire, you believe you are in one. So manifestation happens once you believe what you are doing it. You want to believe what it is. And there are some titles like, I'm a UX designer, I'm a UI designer, I'm a product designer, I'm a web developer. So everything you cannot do, right? So it gives a very confused state of mind for the readers who comes to your LinkedIn page or something like that, to show what you really want to be and be that person. So I am a UX designer, I believe I am a UX designer, then I am a UX designer. If you are a web developer in the past, you mention you are an ex-web developer, which shows you did something in the past. So that person who reads it won't get confused. If a recruiter comes to your your LinkedIn and sees, okay, this person is UI designer, UX developer, there's so many titles. Let's not confuse them. Let's give them a title which you wanted to become and you wanted to be. So that's what I was trying to tell. And show them the task on the top. What is the one we want to do? Right? That is a mantra for the first. And second, like I said, the second point is choose 3 to 5 projects at detailed case studies. Right? So like I said, I think I have repeated about the best project to show the priority list aligned to the work you do. Okay. So what I was telling about minimum 3, and you can go 3 to 5 in detailed case study. Some people will say, oh, why should my detailed case study is so big? I will show only what is needed at the moment. It's okay. You just keep 3 of it in a very detailed format for a fresher to join, right? At least they would assess what you're going through. Maybe while presenting, you don't have to read through everything, maybe a little bit show here and there, looking at the time and how you can manage. But at least have 3 complete case studies. Right, rest you can improvise and say this is the case study just for changing one feature. This is the case study just for doing that. So this rest you can build. As a fresher, I would always advise them, like I said, a SaaS, a mobile application, a responsive web app. That can be the 3 to start with, right? So that if you are entering a UX or UI, that would be a good thing to start with. See, I'm telling about the strategies which worked and which will show more capability of yours. So that while doing SaaS, you will learn about SaaS. While doing responsive, you will learn about responsive. While you do with mobile application, you will learn about mobile tools. So basically, you are touching each aspect, right? Directly or indirectly. It's making you jump out of your comfort zone and learn something new, right? So when you're creating a case study, you should have a like set of things in this what do you call case studies, right? The problems you are trying to solve, the hypothesis you're coming to solve. See, a lot of problems are like very superficial in terms of case study, because a lot of people don't get chance to it. So you need to create a hypothesis, how you're going to solve it. And you need to mention what is your role in the project and how well you collaborated with the other person, right? Then how do you come with this proposed solution? And how did you solve this, right? The challenges you faced, and what is the impact of the user and the business, and what you have learned at the bottom, at the end of it. So these are the essence, the top essence we need to get from your case study, right? Now we will say, oh, my project is always user centric, or my project is always user centric, that this and all those stuff, right? It's totally, it's not 100% true. Yes, it is catering a user, but there is a person who's investing money on it, right? There's a business part of it. A lot of people forget that, or a lot of freshers forget that. So we need to tell them, how do business make money out of it? In the sense, not like a clear description, a little bit of abstract, that it would cater someone like a stakeholder or a business person whose business as in the stakeholders, right? So stakeholders investing some money for you to ask to create a product. That product should help a user as well as business. So never forget the business or the stakeholder, what we are doing it for. And at the end of this entire case study, you should have a glimpse of what you've learned, right? The learning as in, during this one, I have learned a new language. If I am going somewhere, and during this language, during this case study, I made friends. During this case study, I know what are the challenges faced by local vendors. During this case study, I understood how a UPI transaction works. During this case study, I learned how the cryptocurrency works. So a lot of good things, what you have learned, which reflects, shows them at the end of it, like a summary. And the end of the case study for each case study, it's not like, okay, these are my screen, this is my prototype, now thank you for seeing my profile. A lot of people does that, including me also did them in my past. But later I understood that doesn't conclude. Every story should have a summary. Like you know, the old days, the story would have a motto, right? In that context, we need to show what we learned, right? So quickly, I want to ask, is it going good? Are you guys bored or sleepy? So can I continue?
Yes, sir. It's going good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so NDA projects, yes, I'm coming to that. Can you give me an? Yeah, I'll show you a little, because with a limited time, I'll definitely show what I could, and there's definitely a platform to connect with me. I'll definitely share my all these things, right? I hope I'm not boring. It's interesting and a lot of learning is happening. That's the main agenda. So the main mantra for the second point is, the final screenshot tells a part of the story, right? Like I said, the final beautiful screens, 2-3 screens. So we don't want to see onboarding. Like we wanted to see something good. So just putting a lot of screens and like, okay, ho gaya, my case studies done, now you evaluate me. No, it doesn't happen. You need to show screens, the flow in which it's happening, annotate them, and tell you, like I said, like the last point you mentioned, all the challenges for learning business, helping the business, what you've learned. It all is needed for a perfect chai. It's, if you look at the chai there's a meaning for it. We don't put the chai patti and put water. Every essence play a role. Like the water plays a role, the chai patti plays a role, the milk plays a role, right? And even sugar plays a role. There isn't single, so entire thing makes a perfect chai. And how much you boil it, that makes a perfect chai. So that's what I said. Like for example, if the final screenshot is a part of the story, we just put chai patti and milk and it becomes the color, but it also doesn't give the essence, right? So that is the reason I put that here. So whole idea is about, it needs a perfect combination to bring it up, right? Now about choosing your format. The third steps is very important, choosing a format. So now you'll ask, let's go through this and see what all types of are there, right? So how can you make a clear distinction, and how do you break all these things in a different category, right? There are 3 formats generally people do: web-based, like a website and online server, like a lot of people have said. Behance is the place, online. Another lot of people have said like PDF, slide deck, digital PDF, they make slide deck and push it into a Google Drive, right? Another is physical artifacts, print designs, right? So sketches, paper print, this used to happen in some of the places. So basically the way you present is signature style. There is no hard and rule that you need to present in it. It tells about your personality, like how you want to present in it. Since if you're going to attend attend a face-to-face interview, right? Why do you want to bring a print artifact, like at least one case study? So it's all strategies to what do you think, how you could show, right? So we need to, as a designer, we need to define what is it, which one is best for our personality, right? Is it a web-based? Is it a PDF? It's a physical artifact. Okay, so now everyone tell, how can I decide what format to choose? As a fresher, I don't know. As a senior person, what should I do? So we need to think about how we going to present this portfolio to that person, like whoever is asking for it. Did the hiring manager specifically ask for a format? If a company person asking you for a specific format or not, it happens very rarely. It doesn't happen. Mostly it will be like, give me a link of portfolio, right? And what are the costs associated with this format? So you need to figure out what is the cost associated. Sorry. Sorry guys. What is the cost associated with this format? So basically, print format you need to pay more, or digital format you might not have to, but the premium subscription you might have to pay. So you need to find what is the pros and cons about it, right? Now, how much knowledge do I have of the software that I'll be using, right? All these things you need to figure out and understand what is the which method, which way is best. So if your answer is not still clear, let's try to keep a pro and cons for these things, right? So if you look here, we have mentioned like web-based, PDF, select, physical artifacts. So here I mentioned as pros and cons. Let's see a web-based. So it is easy for hiring managers and UX professional because you can just normally click because that's what they do. Any coding knowledge is not required. You can just dump it, and however you just need to play with a little bit navigation, right? For now, this is another problem because since, like I said, unless you keep a different type of portfolio, it's very difficult for a tailor-made portfolio. So we will be like, okay, one portfolio I have, I'll rest of my life I'll have that and I will send it across. So there are people who does tailor-made. For example, if I'm looking at only jobs in in a SaaS company, I'm only looking at SaaS company, all my products will be like SaaS only, right? Or only I'm looking at this company, mobile application company, all my product will be like that. So if you're looking at PDF, they can be tailor-made, like for each company we can see how it is, and it is harder to access. Like a lot of people you might not know, it will be very difficult. Sometimes PDF might not load because of the high quality of print. The PDF is like 100 GB, then we need to compress it. It's a hectic. And physical artifacts, like if it is happening face-to-face, very limited access and difficult to share with the managers, because a lot of print media and graphic designer usually show because they wanted to show that clarity of how the work would in a real time, right? So we need to assess how things work, and based on this, as a designer, we need to figure out what makes us different, right? What is the best portfolio which shows our personality? That is the idea. So this is I gave. So you guys have to think about it. And since you already found a little bit of digital or whichever it is, try to make a balance out of it, right? Show the things which are very public possible, and you can keep something well reserved with the password protected based on the severity of the project and the client and all those stuff, right? Right. So coming to the fourth step, create your portfolio, right? So we'll be like, okay, now I have a lot of PDF, now I have a lot of work. This is for those who haven't started, right? Those who haven't started and trying to think that I need to start what format. So regardless, we'll be in thoughts and thoughts and thoughts, procrastinating it ever and ever and ever. For you is like, don't think, just do it. Right. It's a very big topic about what is portfolio, how to do, but if you want to start something, just do it. Like later you evolve whatever it is. Okay. If it is a PPT, also no issues. Make some Microsoft PPTs, put your page in it. Just don't think, like, don't procrastinate anymore after the session if anyone haven't started, right? So a lot of people, some people of the crowd will be like, okay, I haven't not started yet. What to start, where to start? It's overwhelming for me also. People like, should I do it in Figma? Should I do it in PPA? So PPT, or just do it some platform. You start with it. You know, my portfolio would around 30, at least 28 iterations, different platforms, WordPress, Word document, PPTs, Google Slides, whatever you could think about it, Behance, Dribble, that, this, and it evolve. At the end, we try to, because once you attain a maturity and seniority, I mean, personal preference, I made a website, like a self website, so that it has it, like it has it. So I carried, instead of showing in Behance, I would show something in my, you will reach that stage. I'll tell what is that advantage, because it is something very unique. That is your brand, which I am going to portray. So that is why I kept, if it's a brand for me, that is why I kept it is there, and that's how it is. Like, so for me, I after doing 28 iteration all around it, I decided to go with my personal. So you will also reach maybe behind and all initial days of career, yes, but I would personally recommend to have your own website. I know it is some money, like 700 rupees for getting a domain, maybe 500 for a year to get a domain, but a larger run, longer run, if you think it's worth it, definitely have it, or else see what is your financial thing and how do you want to plan it, and then you can make it. There are a lot of free platforms are also there. And see, personally, I have seen Google sites is good. A lot of own websites are good. Framer is good. UX Folio is good. Behance, you can push it and show a little bit of there, but it makes you too much of crowd. So we want to stand out. We don't want to become one among the portfolio, right? So Notion is something complicated, which which I personally don't like, because I feel that's all templated. You are not free to do what you like, move around with assets and you around experiment, show a little bit of full experience, right? So right, so think about it, have a personal portfolio, like personal website down the line when you gain more experience. Think about it, long term thing, right? So that you can customize, right? You can create a product for your own. That's the whole idea. Okay, just don't think, just do it. And the last step I would like to say, it's about the feedback and iterate. Okay. Now, once you do portfolios created, hi, yaar, oh, I have done so much, 6 months of work, I am done this about it, right? So what I wanted to tell is, when you make a product, right, for a client, you always do a usability testing. What is usability test? You make the user, or you make someone to run through your application or product and try to get their recordings and get their notes, and then they try to iterate. So why not with your portfolio? Why it is only one-sided thing? Or you just made a portfolio and you like, okay, just get it done, this is what it is, this is what I can do, I'm not taking any feedback. No, why your friends, when you come, like you can ask your friends, you can ask your peers, send them, ask them what is the feedback, what is the first thing what you see. And another, I think I saw a little bit of maybe a spelling mistake, right? A grammar check, confusion about the context, right? The format. So you need to check all these things, which are very, very small, because we we all designers come with an OCD. It's a default thing. A small error or small mistake, our attention goes there. And after once that happens, we are not able to move to the next slide, because my brain is stuck there or someone's brain is stuck there. So small things, it's really get stuck into it. Maybe there might be an error here also, but like I'm telling, it's the normal behavior of any person who looks into it. So right. So whenever we say, don't think about an elephant, right? How many of you have thought about it? If I tell you don't think about elephant, how many of you have thought? Can I get a yes or no, please?
I did. I mean, the image that came into my mind.
Same here. First image is elephant.
Yeah. So cool. So that's what I want to tell. If there's some, we make some obvious thing, right, in a big white canvas, we make a spot about it. These things really get into that person's mind. So make sure you do a cross check. There are a lot of tools available to do grammar check, all these things. So do that, and then iterate your portfolio. Right. I have created something so much after 6 months, and I will be like, no, I think this would work, because I am not thinking about others. I'm giving my bias. So you need to understand them, right? And as you work on new projects going forward, save any artifacts in process document, right? So what I want to tell about, if you're working about like the iterate, and then you do an iteration of your portfolio, then you do that. Then again, about the artifacts or process documents, like if you learn something from one of the project, make sure you make a note of it, so that you can use that technique in some other project. Right? Not every project is having a same way of doing it. Sometimes a double diamond method or design process. Sometimes there is a business canvas. There is an IBM design thinking process. In some project they use the, what do you call, normal design thinking, Google design thinking process. I mean, a lot of things are there. So what I'm telling, make a note of each, like this project is done with these methods. So in future, when you compare a lot of different processes, so you can tell how can you efficiently use this method. Why don't we use this method? See, we have the work of a UX designer is not what problem de diya karo and what one side is told and we just get it done. No, we are a person, we represent, we are design consultant. We are there because they don't know design. We are telling them how it has to be done, on what reason. We cannot be like okay, ye hai, le lo. No, So it's about a sale. It's an art of selling and marketing, right? How do you sell your designs? It's very important, right? So for example, a lot of person came to me like freshers come to me like, I am an intern, but this guy is my managers keep on asking me to change that, change this, change this. So when we need to change our mind shift, like mindset, right? How it is. So when we are an intern, I know we are in a junior level, we are learning, but we are not, we should not be like, sir, how it is, can you pick one of these? No, we are telling like a consultant or an expert will be like, sir, these are the part A design, this is the B design I have done because of these. Second, I have done over these, and these can contribute in this. And personally, I prefer A will be better for your product, and this. The manager wouldn't say anything about it. So when you give an option of asking, sir, can you just pick one of it? Can you just pick one? Then he will give. Can you give some suggestions? Can you give some ideas? Can you give me some feedback? Then he will give you feedback. So you need to see the art of how you speak to a senior, right? When you know, with it's not like कि हाँ मेरे पास A B ले लो. ऐसे attitude नहीं बोला. I was telling about with the facts. Like, sir, I have followed these. These are the references. I have read an article about it. These doing like this can solve these problems. So you have to be that consultant hat, right? It's not about one-sided a person who a doer. You need to come out of your shell. You need to represent yourself, your ideas based on the facts you have done a lot of homework with, right? That's what you wanted to show them. That is the not exactly from this particular point, but this is something additional which I thought I could tell about you, so it can help you. So change your mindset, change your perspective. Just don't give what they ask. Like if they give you कि एक screen बनाना है, okay, don't give something more. Everyone like to see something more. Just for example, extra dosha ke saath, vada ke saath, you get extra chutney, right? It will be like, wow, Swiggy gave me an extra chutney. So give them the wow factor. Like show them a little bit of extra. Go beyond something and show them. Okay, if some homepage they wanted particularly about it, if you have time, do create something of your own which you think best and show them, sir, this is what I'm thought in my free time. I've done this. This is what you asked for. What do you think about it? Right? I have done because of these reason, these judgments, right? So give what they are more what they ask for. That is the idea. So now a lot of questions came in the chat about how do you navigate NDA projects, right? So there are a lot of few questions would come. I just took some of the topics, a lot of come, right? So let's see how do you navigate some roadblocks, understanding these portfolio, right? Now the famous topic is kind of my work is under non-disclosure agreement, NDA. What can I do? I am not able to. Definitely, you have signed an agreement with the company or a client. You have to bind. You cannot use their logo. You cannot use their design system. You cannot use their sentences. So like that, a lot of designers, including myself, I'm working with one of the client, a banking domain where I cannot show my work. Yes, we have disadvantage, but how we can show in what way we can show, we'll discuss about it, right? So now, most common, like I said, NDA is something what we are not able to show, like even the government work, right? And this would basically restrict you from showing more, right? And it can be frustration. The 15 years I worked there, I'm not sure able to how can I get work. So during my older days, there was time when I was not able to show my NDA and I got rejected from a company. So I didn't know it was a big MNC. Okay, it was like the top-notch company. After 3-4 rounds, when I went in the early days of my career, then they said I was very curious to know, hey, mujhe kyun reject mila? What is the reason? Am I not good enough? What is it? Then I checked. Somehow I got a feedback from that HR. I asked, can you please just give me feedback so that next time I could do much better. So one comment gave by one of the recruiter was that he was not able to show his NDA work. Obviously, it's obvious. Everyone knows there's an NDA work, but a little bit of glimpse about what was the thought process about it, a little bit about it. How can we show that? That's an idea. So you can show a little bit of process, like what you done. What was the things like, how did we talk? How did we, the earlier concept would look like? A little bit of black and white wireframes without using the so many things like that. So we can mention them like, this is my NDA project, but here I am not able to always give a disclaimer. Like in terms of projects, you give a disclaimer. It's my NDA project. I'm not able to show you 100%, but show a little bit of process, like so that people understand what level of complexity you might have solved. Right? There are a lot of dashboards and all of a sudden 2-3 dashboard screens. If you put, a lot of people might not understand, but you are solving a very complicated process. But you can tell them a little bit of glimpse here and there. So basically, it's a great. You need to have a great storytelling thing, right? You need to process the details in a way that you are able to convey what are the things what you have done. not entirely what is very confidential. You just have to glimpse about what you've done, right? It's not, I'm telling you once again, it's not like we need to show our brand, colors, and important information of the client. It's just about like very vaguely. Okay, no keywords of the client has to be used. I'm telling it once again, right? So for example, now it look like, so you can take an information and blur it out a little bit so that you're not showing a little bit important like client information or something like that, right? Blur it out in the sense you mostly blur entire thing out. Not even the color scheme or design system should be replicated ideally. Imagine this is a very not one-to-one example, it's a very vague example. Like for example, in this original there were client details, and now you are doing a project for some banking domain, you have a client details, right? And now don't want to show that. We should not be showing that. Obviously it's a NDA breach, so you can ideally smudge it or do that, or else in your this one you need to change a layout in a way which doesn't look exactly like it, but at least gives a glimpse of whatever it is. For example, this is some attendance, what do you call, attendance filling form or something. So you need to understand as a person how much, see here I cannot tell you what is the severity of your project. You need to be that person, very important to know and take a call. You cannot tomorrow say, oh, I have done an NDA because Siddhartha said it. No, you have to be the one responsible because you need to decide what it is. I was just telling you these way some of the techniques they have done, right? So you need to choose which is the best, which Kate can help you in that way. And next is trying to make it generic, right? It should not look like exactly, like I said, not using the same color and brand and all these style which identify the client. For example, Facebook has blue color, right? So we don't want like same structure you're making this one. So try to change completely different, right? Which like a very generic one, which looks like a normal website, but at least we get a glimpse of how it looks. For example, an e-commerce platform, right? You have a Flipkart. Okay, there are a lot of NDA, it seems. Imagine. So don't make another Flipkart. You just change everything. Make any cart, but it should look something very different. Should not in line with any original, right? That's the, so in the bottom I have mentioned remove company logos, change brand, update copy, not even the sentences without compromising the company's information, right? And here I have mentioned personal information and contact information needs to be done, right? So before going to next slide, I would like to ask, a lot of people faced challenges in NDA. Like a lot of people are still having a lot of have a lot of NDA projects. I'm not able to show. How many people are like having a trouble doing that? Very able to crack it, or still not able to show? Okay, cool. Okay, no shows. So like I said, you need to find the right balance to see what you can show and all. Okay, so if you try to see like try to make something which is very different, but at least it gives a little bit of here and there without compromising, you can definitely try making one thing. And keep this password protected, and you show only during the interviews, and ask them not to record if it is too much carry, right? So each person is responsible for their own NDA thing. So please be responsible and see according to what is needed, or you can ask someone while you doing a portfolio review. Okay. Now these are the famous things. What do you call famous things? Thought comes to our mind like, hey, I don't have a lot of time. What should I focus on? Right? I want to make a big impact, but I don't have a time. Right? This is everyone will say, hey, I don't have 6 months time. I say portfolio is a painful process which takes around 6 months. Hey, I need to get job, right? So then what should we do? Another thing is like I had great ideas and but they were never implemented, right? So we often get to show so much things to our stakeholders, but they are never getting implemented. And next thought will be, I'm a student, right? So these are the top things which come into our mind all the time. How can I land into first job, right? The first of all, like if you say I don't have a lot of time, how can you like show a lot of things, right? So at least you need to focus on a couple of projects where you need to incorporate variety of UX designs and design skills you have incorporated, right? So like I said, I have said minimum 3. Maybe you not have minimum 3 time to do. Maybe why don't you make one which has everything? Show them what they needed, right? Why don't you make something one where you can evolve also? See, one, you can make a responsive website and app. From there itself, if this particular app is going to be a native in mobile phone, how it looks, right? So something that you need to improvise. If you don't have so much time, what should I focus? So you need to see what is that one project which makes a bigger impact on everything, whatever I said. Next is, I have great ideas, but never got implemented. For example, in a company, a junior design intern will give so much of concepts, but don't delete any of those, right? Maybe a lot of things they might incorporate, they might not be able to do it. But what you can do is like capture all these things, right? And show them and make it a history of things and show what it is has been, right? And another thing is student. I'm a student. I was very first job to get, right? So I always recommend you to do internships. Yes, that is the if you do internship, that is where you get an exposure for real-time projects. A lot of people will say, "Ki I will give you a what do you call internships with no money." I am not a favor of that. If any services is being taken, they definitely given a compensation or a stipend. Please do ask for it. I would recommend to ask. So these are the things, and you definitely need to overcome these to get that first break, right? It's very important. So like I said, the first one you need to show. If you don't have a time, you need to show everything, every possible things in one of the portfolios. Second, if you have done a lot of iterations and which finally it's not been chosen, try to show all the story and tell to show that this concept I have done, this I have done, this I have done. Maybe it might be rejected or taken, but you need to have show so many iterations you have done. And third, being a student, definitely find an internship. If it is not happening, try to go approach some design studios. They will help you get some internship. But if they are not paying, please tell them what is the importance of pay, so that how much you can contribute to them, right? Tell them what is your value. How can you contribute to the business, right? So about once I think it's almost 11. I'm just bringing everything into the like in a crisp screen just to tell you that in concluding. So like I said, the portfolio is very important. It will be part of designers. Earlier you start, earlier the better, because more you grow up, first you figure out which stability you want to pick, which platform you want to pick. Then you can keep on adding it in a page. Only the first time creation will be a problem. Otherwise, it will be like you need to create it every time. So first time it will be a hectic pain to create one. Rest, while you keep on adding, it will be in the same like in the same navigation or same page, right? That can help you get it. So then while creating your UX design, remember these tips: curate, right? Show real work, even if it's messy, right? Highlight collaboration with team, and reflect on who you are as a designer and where you want to be, right? We always miss that part. So we need to tell what your designer, what we are aspiring to. That is very important. Okay. So this is basically like, so I given two quotes, which I feel very is fascinating for myself. For designers, intelligence made visible, and every great designer begins with an even a better story, right? Remember, these things might come into picture. So this is like almost like a concluding slide. I have made something bonus for you guys, right? So I have created a skeleton about a foolproof case study for a fresher, right? I would wish everyone to, I want everyone to take a screenshot of it and look at it later. This is a top to bottom skeleton of any detailed case study, right? Or a templates of case study. You pick what is needed, right? It will be so much of bullet points. It will make a 20-50 pages of this one. What do you call a case study? But at least to start with, at least to show something you're working with, have these all things in the mind while you're doing it. And whenever you do these kind of research methods, please think about these three questions. Or else, these three essence, these three in the bottom right needs to convey through these points, right? For example, what is this research method? Why am I doing this research method? What is the outcome of research method? So these three questions should be answered self-explanatory. For example, in terms, if you use persona creation, you just don't put persona creation. Let the user know what is persona. Tell them it is a fictitious profile created for representing a group of people, right? Why am I using research method? Then you have to tell, as a UX designer, I feel creating a persona is very impactful to understand which is a focus group. And you have to mention what is the outcome of the research method. At the bottom of the persona, you write, after understanding each persona, I was able to understand that this such a person, that person is failing these challenges, these challenges, these are the goals what we wanted to do. So basically, every research method should have a sign of like hand off with the another design process where you're going to do. right? It's not like in our college days, एक heading लिख दिया उसके नीचे कुछ लिख दिया, अगला heading लिख दिया उसके कुछ लिख दिया. Don't try to fill the gaps. It feels a void. So basically we'll think that you're just trying to push in what do you call, push in all these things, push all these things in between just because I made some screens. So whenever you do something, when you do a research, something, you're narrowing down, right? You're narrowing down in a beautiful way, because this method was not enough. I am trying to do a next method which refines my solution. Again, it goes, and finally we get beautiful screens, right? I hope everyone have taken a screenshot of it, right? Cool. So before I go, I just wanted to tell you, like, first of all, thanks to Preplace for arranging such a nice. I just want to tell how this Preplaced platform works. A lot of people might have joined like this. A little bit of intro about how things work, right? So if someone is looking for a long-term mentorship with me, I have given just a very glimpse of how things are, right? So what we planning to do is, like, I sit with them one-on-one session every time. Like, since I don't want to give like a group, this is just for letting you have some takeaways. Here I sit with one-on-one person with for a long-term engagement, so that I give my 100% commitment and what do you call, the focus to that person who I am talking with, being a mentor with. It's not like that is a session with happen and done. No, we definitely gonna be sticking together the rest of our life. It's like a peer designer or a friend, how it can be, right? So if you guys are looking for something different, here you can find what all things gonna happen. It's mentioned here, and we definitely try to prepare you for what is coming, right? So that's the whole idea about what I'm going to offer. Like, want to be within my mentor. If someone wants to discuss things with me and we can discuss further, we'll try to bifurcate what you think. We'll try to introspect, and obviously, once you're market ready, I'll definitely refer from my side, and definitely I'll help you try to get some good opportunities with my peers or the network in it, right? So before this, I just wanted to put one more poll. Wanted to ask something, you guys. Were you guys able to see my screen before? Where you guys saw this screen, like where the pre-placed? Can I get a yes or no, please? Oh, sorry. Okay, so I was telling about this, how the pre-placed thing works. So here how it is, like I said, about long-term mentorship. Have a look at it. I won't take much time. Right. I just want to have a quick poll for this as well. Just wanted to ask you, how many of you guys have mentors? See, why I'm telling about mentors, right? You'll be like, oh, what is this mentor? Even I'm telling you about Hindu mythology, right? Even Arjuna, right? He was very shatir. He was very smart. He was the top of his batch and everything. But without Krishna, he was not able to win a war. What did Krishna had to offer is experience and strategy and idea about it, right? See, I would definitely need a mentor for my growth, right? Even the Bill Gates is having a mentor called Warren Buffett, right? He tells such a big billionaire have a mentor. So you can understand what is the importance of being a mentor. It's not me, it's not someone, but who you please, who you wanted to become. Take a mentor who's someone who could really help you with things. Like, it can be anyone. It can be anyone out of whatever you like, whoever it is. So you need to see how that mentor can help. But I'm telling mark my words, a mentor is very important. Not me or anyone, whoever you like. That's a general thing I would like to say, because a mentor would give you an advice, a personal level, a professional level. You can have two mentors in your life. You can have one professional mentor, and which looking like you look forward for some company and where you want to look at, and you can have a personal mentor where he discuss all your personal problems, right? So definitely don't hesitate to ask people that, can you be my mentor? Or if you want to reach out me, you know where to reach out me. Apart from that, I'm telling you, it's not too late. Early you understand, right? It's very important, because that person can really mold you the work, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. right? If I invented a wheel, you don't have to reinvent, because you can use my shoulder as a platform to jump to the next level. I always like prepare the people for the next thing which I haven't done. Looking into my earlier days, if I have some advices to tell in terms of investment, design, or anything, I would be more than happy, because for me that the path is already taken. If I say there is a kua, if there's a hole there, so I don't want you to go and fall and learn. Right? I already done that for you. Then you can find new ways. That's how each generation evolves, right? So, like I said, it's very important to have a mentor. So, right. Right, like I said, so if you feel you want to talk a bit, or any point of time you wanted to give me a feedback or didn't understand, feel free to scan this. I'm more than happy. You can enroll in a free trial session and see how it goes. And if you feel that this person could really help you, like, I'm more than happy to sit with you, because there are a lot of mentees still who are like engaged with me for a couple of months, and they are doing good, and they are so totally talented, right? Right. So this is a quick scanner. You can definitely have a look at, find a booking slot. Yeah, cool. So over to you, please. Do you guys have anything to add, or so? Yeah. So I see someone. I'll read some questions, like in a couple of 3 or 3 more months. I'll take some questions in this chat. I'll see. I'll try to answer them. Right. So one of the person said, don't feel confident about it, right? So like I said, just don't think, just do it, right? Once unless you try to think about it, you won't be able to do it. So this confidence, if I there was a person who was a senior who's not able to show his work because he's feeling that what they will judge me. He was paranoid for so many reasons. Don't think about it. You need to try something. This is your investment. See, unless you invest on yourself, you won't grow. So don't think what maximum can happen. It's not the end of the world, right? So it's better you start with something in terms of talking, or you asking about finding a mentor, or else asking questions to a recruiter. Don't think about it. You all are capable. You are amazing designers, right? uh, I have a great faith in you guys. You can definitely do it. Okay. So bombard me with some questions. Let me answer a few before I go. Right. So should designer jump into content creation on social media for better reach and exposure? See, like I said, why do there are different paths in which a designer chooses? So one is becoming a influencer, like a brand. Like I said, you are a brand now. It's not necessary. A lot of people have went different. See, there are people who work in amazing products, but you don't know their names also. You might know some good names like Ansh Mehra, Saptarishi, because they wanted to be that brand and they create those kind of stuff, right? So they goes to social media to create brand presence. See, if you're selling an apple, how are you going to sell that apple? By showing its brand, its quality, and this. So basically they consider them as a brand, right? So it's not necessary that you need to continue a social media, but I would request all the designers to be extrovert, because I want you to meet people. So more you meet people and more you do things, your creativity side will increase. Okay, work on the product. If you wanted to become in a social media, be it, but if you have a time, or else focus on what is important. So there are some people become managers, some people become social media influencers, some people become a designers, hardcore designers, principal designers. So there are different paths you need to choose, right? So one person is, what is case study? Case study, I think I explained in the first slide. What is a case study? It's about showcasing a place. Case study, right? So case study is like a entire report or a journey or a story about how you completed a task or a project or a product, right? That's kind of, what do you call, how long of a gap is acceptable from completing your degree and landing. See, that is the fun part of this particular degree. There is no gap here. No one, that is in engineering. In long term, people say, hey, you have a gap. That's very Indian mentality. Nowadays things have changed. Now there is no gap. Your portfolio is good to go. You are relevant to me. I definitely help you get a job. It's something like that, right? So like I said, how long the gap is acceptable from completing a degree. See, I would prefer every time you learn something new. Don't keep any gap. See, I think no one is having a gap. In the course of time, someone will learn something about it, right? So I would suggest, It's up to you. Earliest as possible, if possible, then you will be able to face the world in a good way. Okay. If I am experienced professional who has transitioned to UX, should I go with internship? I don't have access to internship. So if you are an experienced person, like you're coming from a different domain, internship is not something, right? That then there is a different strategy to apply, right? For example, if you're coming from a different domain and you have a certain set of money and your lifestyle is accommodated, we will try to figure out a strategy, right, in which your old money is not being compromised. We need to find a correct fit and market where your older experience also being taken into account, right? So like I said, like if you want to know more, I am actually working on those strategies. I have worked with few people around that. We can definitely have a word around it, because it is so much to tell, right? So how experienced people we're replacing in the company is very important, because we need to see a lot of things which are not compromised, right? How can we show user flows information architecture? Like I said, you might not be able to show the entire product about it. When you say mention about something that these are NDA, people will understand and respect that. But at least you need to show some story about it, right? In terms of how it looks, what is the problem you shared. You cannot show exactly 100% information architecture and user flows. That is true. But a generic user flow would be helpful. And information architecture also generic. It depends on what NDA project are you doing. Since you just mentioned NDA, it's very difficult to understand, right? So it's different for different, but you need to find the balance that nothing is rolled out. With getting that information of architecture, we are not able to figure out what is supposed to be, right? So we need to figure out how that works. Any suggestion we give students who want to explore learning? Yes, Rajeshwari, yes. Any suggestions to explore and learn? Suggestion as in, don't fall for the timeline what your friend is having. He might be earning so much money and you need to earn nothing, that sort. Feel free to start something on. Understand about fundamentals is very important, right? You don't have to buy heart, but you just need to know where you need to find it. So a little bit of fundamentals here and there would be helpful, right? In joining as an internship is yes. There are few YouTube channels which definitely curate things about how to study about UX UI. Otherwise, if you wanted to look forward for how do you want to strategize, then I can help you with. How do you want to learn it? A little bit of, like I said, there are boot camps are available, right? There are something available where you can do it. Yeah. Then how can you select topics? Most of the reverse directly jump into ideation. How to weave a good story. See, RCC, how to find a topic. See, topic is finding is very important, right? You cannot just make some movie theater booking app, dog pet app. These are the things people really don't like it. Try to find, that's what I said. Come out of your shell, go out and have a coffee, see around and find a topic which is really relevant. Like help a vendor. Like imagine a Thela guy is selling a chai or something like that. How can you help his digitalize experiences, right? Think in a way, right? A lot of people do reverse engineering that I have solution, how I'm going to do that. Such if someone want to do AR VR product just of the trend, yes, they are trying it, they are learning it, spatial designing, they are experimenting, case studies about experiment. Okay, because you need to do a lot of assumptions. You can mention about assumptions, you can read about it. So based on that, people will see that this person can see, he person can learn about it. It's okay to have one portfolio or one case study which is very futuristic driven. Not necessary you might have done. See, case study means sometimes you might have done that project, sometimes you might not have done, but you can mention, always mention that this is a case study. Like I'm what do you call, I'm thinking about it, this is the abstract thing, this is the concept. So it's okay to have concept, right? To have a good story, you need to hear a lot of stories to tell stories. You need to watch cartoons, you need to understand how good storytelling is there. It's basically you talking to your brother. It's like your brother or sister, younger brother, sister. You're trying to make a kid understand what it is. That is a storytelling. That is the easiest way I can explain you how it is. See, if I like another question was like, if I'm fresher, I'm like faced many rejection. So if you're getting more than 2 to 5 rejections, now it is time to stop and think about what am I making wrong, right? So why don't you check, introspect yourself and see what it is, help of a mentor, get a portfolio review and see what is making wrong, and try that mentor would help you to figure out what is your strength and weaknesses. Then you build upon it and then you make a good what do you call all these things, right? So I'm transferring UX career, a degree design is necessary. See, like I said, a degree design is not necessary. If you have a liberty to learn from NID and IFT and all these things, is good. It's like you have some star on your mark, right? But at the end of the day, they will look at your portfolio also. And people joining NID, NIFT, and all these colleges because they have a placement cell. They get paid for getting placed. They get a good pay, and companies come and acquire them. And a good network is open for them. That is the reason people are going. So some people have a capacity to learn from all these calls. Some people might not have capacity. So for me, learning is very important. If you do from a degree or not, whatever it is. But if you have blessings or you have privileges to learn from a good college, definitely do learn. Don't think that I'm learning, I'm wasting my time. Definitely you will reach a better height. So learn from the peers. You will make friends. So who knows, tomorrow you make a company with like a big brand or a company together with your things, right? Another question, I have 2 years of experience. I worked in a small startup, solo designer. I have less confidence to explain my projects. See, if you, I know a lot of people are joining startup as solo designers and all this. They are not getting that. So I would request, if you have like get some like things sorted, that if you feel there's less confidence, that means you need to work as an intern. You need some guidance, right? And if you are confident to do a self-learn and push forward it, you talk, like you give your explanation for whatever it is. Don't get afraid of what about it. Still you feel doubt, get some peers, someone of your friend or someone to like look into things and have a discussion about it. Like, but I'm not core UX. Everyone wants a person who have experience with live mobile. I want to do how to deal with it. uh, Experience. See, some companies do really look forward for someone who's having a live projects. Live projects is very boon, right? uh, what do you call, so I mean, not necessary. Like I said, if you are very experienced and people are asking for a live project, it's okay. But you can try out companies who really want to invest on you when based on your skills and what do you call, the case studies. That's okay. There will be companies who would hire you for that, right? So there's a graphic designer who want to transit into UX, but a lot of resources. That's what I said. So we are curating it. There are nowadays, there was a time when we were studying, there was not enough. But I would suggest, if he's an experienced graphic designer, get into a quick boot camp, or learn something from Ansh Mehra, or there are some design pilots. There are some YouTube channels where you can follow, maybe learn from it. Someone saying from placement is shit. Don't enroll. Invest your money in some productive course instead. Okay, okay. That is one of the experience from a designer who say the placement is shit. Okay, definitely. Like, okay, I'll keep in mind. Yeah. So what we can add on that is, please ask the alumni of whoever studied in those nice colleges called NIFT and NID and IIT. Ask them, talk to them, and understand, is it really worth investing such a money? Placement is good. Once the placement is good and things are better, and if the alumni would say you can study and this really helps, that really helps. Thanks, Shailaja. Yeah, I'm not blindly saying. Yeah, that's a good point to tell. You definitely know to check what it is. Hannah. Cool. And someone asked about SaaS products, like, so those are software as services. There are a lot of examples. Okay, I mean, definitely I'll tell in next session. I'm finding difficult to get an interview because I have transition of finance to US. How do I get interviews? See, basically, even from your finance or when I was doing my master's, there was a carpenter who became a UX designer. See, it's not about where you come from; it's what you do and what your things have been shown, right? So don't worry. It's all about portfolio, right? So we need to find a strategy to create a portfolio, and we need to see the audience who we are sending to. So if you're telling it to finance, we can use that finance knowledge to tell how did you solve such a complicated process. So I don't think so. So unless I see your portfolio or we have a group session, I don't know how to this one did it. So I'll take one last question before I conclude. Right. So one last question before I leave. Okay, I think if yes, yeah, we can work on it, Mayur. We can work on it. Don't worry. If anything is there, please reach out. Right. I'll definitely. I'll right. I'm sharing my. I'll share my link. Feel free to see how it is. Where it is. Right. Cool. Okay, I'm keeping my LinkedIn also, right? Okay, is coding necessary? Okay, this is the last question. It's coding. Coding is not necessary to be a UX designer. I Thanks for attending. Uh, so for Komal, I think you can ask the pre-placed people if they have the recording set, or else I'll share this deck somewhere. So I hope you had some learning. So whole idea about you guys invested so much time in it, and we both talked. For me, my success is here. You guys have some takeaway from this session. I'll be more than happy to get some feedback or something on your LinkedIn or somewhere else. Feel free to join if you want to connect with me. I hope it has given some insights, or whoever not started, or some direction to start with, right? I'm more than happy to help you out in any possible way. All the best for your future. I can see amazing designers coming up, right? Thanks a lot for your time, and I think thanks for having patience. We have sat a lot, and I hope I haven't spoiled your Saturday weekend. I hope it becomes a productive and tomorrow, and just start with it. Okay, let's see amazing portfolios coming around, and thank you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.